right, let's see if we can do it again. But yeah, so I was saying like you can't really raise your boys differently because it's like he's gonna say I suddenly care about this threat, which is male culture and the men coming at me, because these men are all the men he's going to meet are in negative male culture. They've killed off their feminine energy. They've killed off their humanity and being actual people. Okay, they've killed themselves being people. They're just zombies running around here, looking to like peacock and role play another man. Okay, I mean, I know this is the term, like I don't even know like what other term to use, because it's like I was just like they're the original the skinwalkers, which that isn't what it is at all. I know I'm totally misappropriating that. And it just I'm like, what is that other one called? I don't know what that old TV show was called about like they would just take over the bodies of other people and assume their lives or whatever. Like maybe that might be a better comparison here. But it's like either way, these guys are just trying to be the most dominant guy on the field and pretend like to be him. Because if they're a reflection in a mirror of him, he feels safe and secure, so he won't murder them. Okay, which is the same thing that women have to do when they're trying to be in male spaces. They have to be like the other man around them and center their comfort and stuff. And that whole thing of everything he surveys is actually him. Okay, like obviously he doesn't understand how true that is. But it's about his internal state, not his external state, and it doesn't belong to him, and it's not property, and so on and so forth. And so like we're all in this place where equally everything is a mirror to us, but we are also our own independent beings within this here, and we've co-agree to co-create this reality together at the same time. But that doesn't mean that just because he sees what he needs to see in me, that I'm suddenly his property and he gets to do whatever he wants to me, because men never think of this way between one another in that way. They don't think the average man on the street is anything that is property for him to own. Now he does think that he needs to dominate, conquer, and T-pose for dominance over that, and be like, just to make sure that you don't do anything to usurp me. I'm going to do these things to you, real or imagined. I'm going to do these things to harm you on multiple fronts. I wage war on multiple, like all fronts, physically, emotionally, sexually, spiritually, okay? And like I wage war everywhere like that, but women are taught to be like, he doesn't wage war everywhere. He just wages war when he physically beats you. It's like, no, he's waging war all the time on you. Like he's doing that with the earth. He's doing that with you, he does it with all feminine energy. It's always about war. And and competition is another form of warfare. Okay, so it's all just war. It's all like, no matter what phraseology we want to use when it comes to these men in their lower natures and their egos, like it's just war. Women don't war with their egos. You rarely see it in history where women go to war and be as brutal as men, because at that point, she's not coming from a place of ego. She's coming from a place of threat will be removed. And when women kill, they're killing a threat, and they're killing the sole purpose of the threat. So like they'll kill their husbands or their boyfriends, but they're not going to go murder their children too often. As the threat, unless the kids are the threat, where it's like she's so worn down by her gone husband, or her husband being neglectful to her, that for some reason she thinks that the children are actually more of the threat in her life than her man is, but generally women kill for a purpose, and it's like one-time kill. They're not going to keep going. They're not going to keep killing multiple men. Now, because that's what they noticed about the women in Russia. When Russians were training their women to fight, they said that was the hardest thing to do. It was the hardest thing to do to get these Russian women, who were very much in their masculine, but still, it was the hardest thing to do to get these Russian women to actually fight, even though they signed up and volunteered to do this. It was like they weren't getting the concept. It was very, very difficult to do. But like once we found out how to get them to kill, we couldn't stop them. They're like, so basically that's what you get with women. It's like it's very, very difficult for us to start axe murdering, but if that needed to happen, it's like if the then it would, like, you would not be able to stop the women from doing it, so like women are being overly generous here in the society. They're so fucking generous that they want equality, but they also refuse to be 90% axe murderers like men are, and they're refusing to do, he aside, male aside, mask aside. I don't know what you want to call the term, but they're also refusing to do that. We're so much, we're so generous, because honestly, yeah, like, women can be pissed off at you. Women can be like, they might, like, even women who are like feminists who are like down with the patriarchy, they don't necessarily want to kill all the men in the patriarchy. They don't even want to kill some of the men in the patriarchy, but it's just like they want the system to go down, and men take that as a threat to themselves personally. They're like, because they're running off a program that must defend the patriarchy at all costs. If they're doing any protecting and providing at all in the patriarchy, it's to keep the patriarchy system running. That's where they're protecting and providing. Meanwhile, women are protecting and providing for this man in his image, with his friends, with strangers, with his family, even against herself. So she'll eventually wear herself down and gaslight herself to the point where she's like, it wasn't like that. I'm protecting his devaluation in my eyes by saying, he was upset that day, he had a problem with work, maybe I just talked too sassy to him, and that's why I had to walk into his fist 5 times. Like, women be protecting and providing out here like, frontline fucking soldiers and not even getting a medal, which is, frankly, hell, in the world wars, they got medals for that shit. Frau de Black Death, a 17-year-old commander in the machine guns, I think it was heavy machine guns is what she was running with, was frontline combat. She won 40 medals in the Second World War. I will never see a movie about that girl. And if I do see a movie about that girl, I'm going to see it where she's crying in the foxhole, being like, I can't lead, help me! Or some fairy will lead her, and give her the strength and the courage to man up and lead those men, or something like that. Like that's the movie I'll see. I won't actually see that the 17-year-old who actually is brave, strong, and got older men to be under her command. Like, they laughed at her day one when she was promoted to be their commanding officer. By the end of the week, they were taking orders from her and shutting the fuck up. Okay, so I don't know what she did to, like, beat the shit out of them to get them to be like, no, you are my soldier, and you will do what I say, and we will go to the front lines together, and we will kill the enemy as they come in fucking droves. So I don't know what that 17-year-old did, but I will never see a movie about her, no anime about her. We won't even see this anime recreated anywhere. We won't even see this inspiration put out there anywhere, in any anime, everywhere, anywhere at all, or movie, or anything. Like, there will be none of that, okay? Because it's a girl in a warfare, okay? But yeah, we won't see it. And so it's